Welcome to the podcast. I'm Rosa Coelho, your host, lifestyle entrepreneur, health coach, and speaker. I've gone from being in complete overwhelm, burning the candle at both ends, and watching my health, relationships, and business suffer, to creating a life with more joy, ease, and abundance. If you're ready to let go of the overwhelm, reclaim your health, and push past your comfort zone so that you can unleash your next level of success to create a greater impact, then sit back as we delve into conversations as well as bring on guests to share with you tools, knowledge, and real action steps to get you there. Listen in, because you never know when you may hear something that changes everything. Hello, beautiful friend. I hope you are doing fabulous. Before I get into it today, I just want to let you know that I am still living at home. Well, I shouldn't say still. This has been part of the plan. It's been a very short-term plan while I work on some really big goals, and I will be here for another week, maybe another 2. The only reason I say that is because you may hear some noise in the background of talking that I really don't have control over, but it's all good. I really believe in, you just make the situations work the best you can. Not about perfection, and never have been. So today I want to talk about how do you make your comeback stronger? And I've been so inspired to talk about this because life for me really now is great. I have so much to be grateful for. I have to say, even with the craziness of the state of the world, that I actually am doing really well. And I share that not to brag. I share that because it wasn't the case last year. And so if you are in the thick of it, you're in the darkness right now, I hope that this episode will inspire you to know that you can get through it and you can come through it even stronger than ever. So in the last, I'd say almost year and a half, there are definitely some processes that I've gone through that have helped me to finally get life back on track. Now, life is full of seasons. I mean, when you get to a certain age, I think of long periods of life that were just incredible and easy and wonderful, and I knew it and I was grateful for it. And then times that just were more difficult, times where I hit rock bottom. I've hit rock bottom financially. I've hit rock bottom with relationships. It's just normal. It's normal everyday life. But when we're in the thick of it, we sure can feel in despair. We can feel alone. We can feel like we're never going to get out of it. And that's simply not true. And actually, that's the one thing I used to tell myself all the time. So it's just not true that you're going to stay there all the time. So they're just very human experiences. So I'm going to talk about 5 things that have really helped me over the last year and a half, and hope that they will help you as well. So in no particular order, the first thing that I decided when I hit this kind of rock bottom, and kind of on many levels, it was a rock bottom for me. Number 1 was that I decided I was not going to fight the old, and that I was going to focus on the new. Now, I want to explain that because not fighting the old doesn't mean that you don't think about it. It doesn't mean that you ignore it. It doesn't mean that you go into happy land and pretend that nothing has happened. Not fighting the old is actually the opposite. It's really feeling it, taking the time to feel your emotions, to allow yourself to get those emotions out without suppressing them. And for women, I know I've spoken about this before on here. Rage is seen as such a negative thing, and it's not. It's so positive and so necessary. When you can, I know a friend of mine does this when she goes for her forest walks. I've done this when I'm at home on my own with pillows, and I just throw them and scream and yell and get it all out. And you know what? It feels so exhilarating and feels so amazing and feels so freeing. And it's necessary. I believe that suppressing of that emotion and swallowing it over and over is just so harmful to our health on so many levels, including physical. So don't fight the old doesn't mean that you suppress. It's the absolute opposite. But I don't believe in focusing there all the time. Once you've had those rage sessions, once you have gone through the process, then we also need to mentally not let ourselves live there at all times. Now, I say this because I know people who many, many, many years later are still living in the hurt and pain of an experience of something that happened, and they live it over and over and over. And I promised myself that I would not do that. And so I dealt with it, and I have to say, it's very rare. I mean, we're only human. There's the odd time that you kind of I'll find myself kind of going, oh, kind of getting there. And I go, nope, we have dealt with it. It is time to focus on the new. And that could be hard at the beginning when the new looks gray. And I've been there. But sometimes we just need to trust the new, that sparkle, that light will come up, because it will, and it always does. And when things were gray for me, I knew if I just put one little step, one little foot in front of the other, that I would see that sparkle again. So there was a lot of trust. So number one is don't fight the old, focus on the new. So that was a big decision that I made early on. And like I said, express it, feel it, get it out. It feels so good. You don't have to you could do those rage sessions by yourself. Not everyone can handle us in that state. It's fine. It's really for you to get that out. Number two is work on your physical state. Like, work on your physical body. I'm not saying you need to go out and get a 6-pack, none of that. Commit to a daily walk. It doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes. If you feel like you want to do more, maybe you will go all out. Maybe you're like, you know what? It's time. This is my time. I'm going to start strength training. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, commit to doing that, and I always call it a base with my kettlebell ladies. Have that base of the minimum you're willing to do, like even on the hard days. So for example, you make a commitment that maybe you're strength training, maybe you're doing the yoga, maybe you really feel like doing it all, but you have this baseline commitment of a 10-minute walk daily. So say on those days where it's like you can have every excuse because life is busy or you're feeling really down and dark and you just can't get yourself out of it, that you commit to that 10-minute walk. So that is so important. There's so much power behind changing your physical state to change your emotional state. You always, 100% of the time, feel a little bit better after you moved your body. It's incredible. It's incredible the emotions that we can process through being physical. It's amazing how it calms our nervous system, how it reduces our cortisol. It will help us to sleep better. So if we're having a hard time sleeping because of the emotional impact, working on your physical body helps with all of that. It is such an important part of this piece of moving forward. Like I said, you'll never regret taking a 10-minute walk or doing something physical. So that's number two. The third thing is, when things are really dark, focus on the moments of light. And sometimes if this is the state you're in, there will literally just be these moments. I know for me, what I would often tell myself is I would realize that maybe a few minutes had gone by and I hadn't been emotionally distraught, or I hadn't been thinking about how painful the situation I was in or how unfair it was or any of that. And I'd be like, wow, thank you for those moments of calm. Like, that felt so good. And sometimes they were like literally fleeting moments. But what happens is those moments, it's like they start to like almost like a magnet. They start to link up and the moments become longer, and then the moments become an hour. And then you're like, oh, half a day. Oh my gosh, I can get through part of my day where I'm not thinking about how difficult everything is. And before you know it, it's another day. And before you know it, it's a week and a month, and then you're there. But at the beginning, we just look for those moments, give gratitude for them, but recognize them, acknowledge them, because what you focus on, you will get more of. And like I said, they don't have to be these magical moments. They're just moments where you felt okay. So focus on those moments. The fourth is, enjoy the struggle of rebuilding. So I'll give you a very concrete example, but this can be so many different things. I just feel like in society, we do everything we can to avoid struggle. We want everything to be easy. We don't want to feel the pain of anything. And yet there can be real joy in pain. For example, I'll give you an example because I know that might sound a little wishy-washy. I've had a huge financial goal. There's something really big that I have wanted to do. It's part of the reason why I'm living at home for a little while. And I'm going to share all of it when I'm ready. It's probably not going to be that exciting for you. It's exciting for me because it's my goal and something I've worked towards. However, it meant that financially, I really had to put away a lot of money. The money was to pay back debt, and the money was towards this huge goal. So it meant a lot of sacrifice. It meant not eating out. It meant not eating the fancy foods that I usually eat. And by that, I mean like I would easily drop $20, $30 on like, the latest golden milk powder to make drinks at home, and like, like the organic section, go down that section. And like, I know a lot of ladies love like shoes, and well, I love shoes too. Maybe it's not a good example, but whatever it is, I spend a lot on fancy foods. So I stopped. I went back to basics. It didn't mean that I was on like junk food. I still ate whole foods and I ate really well for my body, but I knew it was time. I would have to give something up temporarily. Nothing is forever. But there was such an excitement in that. Like rather than being like, oh, poor me. Like, oh, I can't have that. Oh, I hate that I can't have that. Oh, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so worth it. And imagine when I go back to that routine of purchasing all those things that I loved, and, that's going to be amazing and it's going to feel so good. And so I just focused on all of the good things that will come from the struggle. And I really enjoyed the struggle. There's something so beautiful about accomplishing something, knowing that you truly gave it your all. It wasn't handed to you. You know that you were the creator of it and that you gave up things for it. And it's amazing. And again, nothing is forever, but enjoy that struggle. Enjoy the feeling of it. Be proud of yourself. Know that those are all commitments to yourself for a greater picture. And then number 5 is say yes to experiences and to just being around people. There is something about when we're going through a hard time, we just want to retract. And I know I was there and it's so lonely. And I remember just there was a moment where I was like, whoa, this isn't going to attract anything. This isn't going to change anything. I went through it where I would have like a whole weekend of Netflix because I was just in so much pain and I just wanted to be numb to how hard it was. But then I was like, nope, I've been there. I allowed myself those days, but they're not going to last forever. And if they're not going to last forever, then I've got to do something. And it's time to start saying yes to experiences. At the beginning, the experiences were as little as someone calling to want to go for a walk. And instead of saying no, making an excuse, I would get up and go. And you know what? It was amazing. It was amazing to speak to someone about their life and what they're going through. And, maybe good things, maybe they had struggles, but sometimes we just need to take the attention off of ourselves when we're in the thick of it. It's like, okay, there's a whole other world out there. And it just kind of puts things into perspective. But also when we say yes to experiences, that's where those sparks of light start to come back. That's where life starts to feel exciting again. So then the experiences for me went from going for hikes to beautiful places that I've never been to. I remember this summer, I was so scared to try water skiing and I forced myself to say yes. I was like, okay, I'm just going to say yes, even though everything in me wants to say no. But I hold on to the feeling of after, that feeling of, when you want to say no to something, but it's going to be good. And after, you're going to have that super excited, like you're so proud of yourself feeling. And so I hold on to that. And then I just say yes and go through the motions. But those saying yes to those experiences really made It's amazing. One of the hardest years, also one of the most magical years. Like that's how you start to get joy back into your life. That's how you start to get hope back. That's how you start to dream again, because that's one thing when you're in the thick of it, dreaming is impossible. So those are my 5 big steps to making your comeback stronger than ever. Yes, it's about positivity, but it's also about doing the work, and it's also about dealing with the emotions in order to move forward. So the first one was don't fight the old, but focus on the new. 2 was work on your physical state every single day, something physical. 3 was focus on the light, those little moments where you can see those little sparkles, where you feel happiness or you feel calm. Focus on those because they grow. Number 4 was find a joy in the struggle of coming back. Know that the comeback's going to be amazing, and that yes, there's going to be struggles, but they're going to be so worth it. And that the bigger picture is what really matters, that this too shall pass. And number 5, say yes to experiences. That's truly what life is about. It's about fun experiences, shared moments with others, and saying yes to yourself more than anything. Okay, beauties, I hope that helps. I know many of you out there are struggling. I know you're feeling alone. I know that things are really hard. And I hope that some of these steps will help you to get out of that one step at a time. Now, if things are amazing for you right now, gosh, that's amazing. And just enjoy it and love it and be grateful for it, because those times are so beautiful. And sometimes hearing someone struggle makes us appreciate more what we have. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Enjoy every moment. All right. I will speak to you all again soon. Thank you so much for listening in today. I know time is precious, and I'm grateful you shared yours with me. It would mean the world to me if you felt an impact, a moment of inspiration, or learned something new. If you would share it with those you care about and leave me a review on iTunes. I'd love to know what spoke to you or what you'd like to hear more of. Your sharing and leaving a review would help so much on this journey to making an impact on as many people as possible. It's worth it. I know from experience, there are moments when something we hear has the possibility of changing everything.